I, 45F, have 2 kids, 17F and 15M. We moved earlier this year to be closer to my parents as my parents' health is declining. My daughter was excited about the move, but my son has struggled to adjust. Due to the move, my job shifted to hybrid, and I needed a work-from-home setup. My bedroom is too small, and the only options were the lounge or one of the kids' rooms during school hours. I proposed this to them. My son flat out refused, no way in hell, but my daughter offered her room and half-joked about charging me rent for the space. I thought it was fair, as I get a $20 per day work-from-home allowance. I agreed to give it to her if she was okay with me setting up a small office in her room. I work from 8:30 to 5 o'clock, and she usually starts homework right after I finish, so it's worked out well. Now the issue: my son is pissed that his sister is getting $60. I don't do regular allowances, just canteen money, about $10 per week, and other needs as they come up. I told him he had the same opportunity and was now shit out of luck. He got angry and brought up the move, saying he never gets to see his friends. For the record, I drive them back to visit every 2 weeks for visits. I told him I understood his feelings but said I wouldn't tolerate being spoken to like shit. He then started an argument with his sister too, going in on her for being an opportunistic bitch, and she called him a whiny little asshole. To cool off, I offered one of them the option to stay at their grandparents' for the night, not as a punishment but to break the tension. My son opted to go, and while dropping him off, my mom told me I was favoring my daughter and should be paying them equally. My dad disagreed, saying my son had the chance and was shit out of luck. ETA, the conversation took place over the course of the afternoon, and I didn't immediately agree to the deal with my daughter. I offered it to my son first, who reiterated hell no and get the fuck out of my room. I also should mention the reason I have the smallest room is due to the lack of insulation in the ceiling and flooring, making it damp, and as we're heading into winter I wasn't sending either kid in there. The room also fits a single bed, and a set of drawers, with essentially no other space at all. We own the house in Auckland, NZ, and I don't have the spare cash to get it insulated at the moment, or even fit any of my equipment to work from home in there. Comment 1. NTA, there is a real cost to your daughter to be sharing her room. She is giving up some of her privacy, likely has to keep things tidier etc., and generally doesn't get a space that fully feels like hers. She's decided that's worth it to her for $60 per week. It would be extremely unfair if the son got that same money for literally doing nothing. The only way I'd potentially give him some of the money is if the office moved between the 2 rooms and on alternate weeks or months, depending on how hard it is to move the office setup. He gave up his room. Comment 2. Offer your son a job, like weekly, a couple of things to do. It could be things like taking out the garbage or yard work or even vacuuming. That way he has an opportunity to receive money too. Story 2. Walking out of a house showing. My husband and I, 29F, are in the process of looking for a house for our family. We looked at a couple of houses today with my mother-in-law, father-in-law, kids, and realtor, Bob. Bob was my in-law's realtor for the house they currently live in, and they appear to be close, but my husband and I haven't met him before starting our house hunting process. He was recommended to us by my in-laws. At the first house, we looked at the mudroom first, but because it was so tiny, everyone went in, except Bob and I. The 2 of us stayed back in the kitchen. I was looking the countertops and Bob was leaning against the cabinets waiting for everyone else / letting everyone look at the mudroom space. While everyone else was in the mudroom, I asked our realtor if this house is the house we discussed that have 2 bedrooms downstairs and 2 bedrooms upstairs. Bob looked at me, rolled his eyes, sighed, and walked away. I was really taken aback, but honestly he was giving me vibes that he didn't like me based on previous experiences when looking at other houses. I brushed it off, and we all continued to look at the rest of the house. We looked at the basement and my husband asked the same question I asked Bob in the kitchen. Bob excitedly told my husband about the bedrooms with details and encouraged him and my in-laws to look at it next. He looked at everyone, except for me. That's when I really got mad and I walked away from the group and went outside with my kids, because they were getting antsy anyways. After the showing, my mother-in-law tells me that I was rude to walk away when Bob was talking to all of us. I told her what happened, but she continued to tell me it was rude and that Bob is a close friend of theirs. I later on told my husband about it and he's furious that Bob would do and that he also noticed a weird vibe from him towards me. I can't shake off what happened today and the words from my mother-in-law. This may be important to the story, but it is my speculation that this is the cause for everything. I am black and my husband and in-laws are white. We live in a predominantly white area in rural NY. There aren't a lot of us around here and I get looks from white people all the time. Comment 1. NTA Bob sucks. Also, don't go house hunting with your in-laws, especially if the realtor is their friend. You're giving them too much power to guilt you into making a major financial decision because it'll benefit their relationship with their friend, not you. Your mother-in-law has already made it clear who her priority is here. This guy isn't treating you like his client, so you shouldn't be his client. Comment 2. You need a new realtor. Bob's actions were not professional. Let your husband explain it to Bob and his parents. You find a realtor you connect with. House hunting is hard enough without being sidelined by the person who is supposed to be a source of support and information. Story 3, skipping my brother's wedding after he skipped mine. I, 27F, got married to my husband, 28M, last April. We sent our wedding invites out a full year before our wedding and sent reminders 6 months before. My brother Jacob, 22M, is the youngest of 4 kids, 3 girls and 1 boy, and my parents have always treated him like their precious gold child who can do no wrong. As adults, this has caused a lot of tension between us. He acts like a raging hormonal 16-year-old boy. It's definitely gotten worse with his fiancée Kelly, 21F, enabling his bad behavior. Kelly is constantly telling him we don't appreciate him and we should be grateful to have him as a sibling. My parents think me and my sisters don't understand him and we don't give him enough grace. Jacob told me a week before my wedding he wasn't coming because he was going to be busy with Kelly and they were going on vacation. I begged him to come and emphasized how important it was to me he came to my wedding. My mom got involved at this point and assured me he would be there and not to worry. I didn't find out until an hour before I walked down the aisle he wasn't there and didn't intend to be. I was devastated. My sisters and husband had to calm me down. I had my heart set on my entire family coming, and he was our ring bearer. When Jacob told our family him and Kelly were engaged, I was happy for him. He announced his wedding date was May 30th of this year. He emphasized we all have to be there. His fiancée sent a text saying that our attendance was mandatory. I've been debating skipping his wedding. I don't get along well with Kelly and my brother skipped my wedding. I mentioned possibly not going to my mom and she was pissed and told everyone. Now my brother, Kelly, and my parents are calling me an a-hole, brat, and petty for maybe skipping his wedding. My sisters and husband agree with me I don't have to go since they didn't go to mine. But would I be the asshole for skipping my brother's wedding? Minor update, turns out my husband isn't invited and my oldest sister's wife isn't invited either. Kelly doesn't want any spouses there since those are in her words temporary, she doesn't want them in any pictures. My oldest sister has decided not to attend because of that reason. I found this out 5-ish minutes after I posted. Comment 1. NTA. They're 22 and 21. I would be honest and tell him you'll catch his next one. Why should you have to be the bigger person, or keep the peace? That's ridiculous. Comment 2. NTA. And I hope, given the update, the new info will help you get over your qualms about not going. You didn't mention what the other sisters' thoughts are, but if all 3 of you skipped it, it would send a message not just to your brother, but also your parents. Maybe that would be the catalyst for some or all of them to seriously reevaluate their choices. Or maybe it would free you and your sisters from their nonsense. Story 4, telling my coworker her kids are none of my business? School holidays are coming up and I have a coworker panicking, as she left it too late to book vacation slots. My company had a rule where no more than 3 workers can leave at the same time for vacation. I already filled in my vacation slot months ago as I haven't taken any in nearly a year. I'm single and unmarried and in my 30s. Company HR told my co-worker that her only way to get a vacation is to get one of us who already had our vacation time approved to trade with her. And considering out of the 3 of us whose vacations were approved, I am the only female. Guess who my co-worker approached for the trade? She tried explaining, gently at first, that her kids, 6 and 4 years of age apparently, were really looking forward to going to Disneyland and that everything is already booked, and if I can give up my vacation spot to her. I told her no, as I too already had my vacation booked. It's a solo vacation, but I'm not about to tell her that. She got real pushy and kept on trying to insist I give her my vacation spot, saying that my kids would be so disappointed. I blew up at her after the 4th or 5th time, telling her that her kids being disappointed is none of my business. I didn't exactly keep my voice down, so at least half the office heard, and my co-worker turned red and left. One of my co-workers, 25M, who sat to my side who had heard the entire conversation later told me that while he get where I'm coming from, I could be a lot gentler, and I didn't get how hard mothers get it. Comment 1. NTA, I am also child-free by choice and arrange my vacations very early to make sure they are approved. Her inability to manage her life is not your problem to fix. Also, who makes reservations for a vacation before they have the time off approved? Co-worker sucks, enjoy your vacay PS. Solo travel is just as valid as family travel and supports local economies in ways that family business does not. As someone whose work depends on travel and hospitality, this is a huge thing, actually. Are you comfortable sharing any exciting plans for your vacay? Don't let the haters get you down. Comment 2. NTA. Your co-workers obviously don't get what it's like to be the child-free woman and thus be expected to alter your plans and twist yourself into a pretzel to please kids you've never met and adults who can't plan ahead. I wonder why your 25M co-worker didn't volunteer to give her his vacation spot. Extra, breastfeeding my niece? My sister, 25F, has a 4-month-old and I, 28F, have a 6-month-old. We are very close, and she asked me to watch her baby overnight last night. She brought bottles and pumped milk, and informed me she'd never tried giving her a bottle but it should be fine and left. A couple hours later, her baby was hungry. I prepared a bottle and tried feeding her the bottle, but no matter what I did she wouldn't take it. She just kept crying. After 2 hours of trying to feed her a bottle and then trying to spoon feed her and her screaming, and me being unable to reach my sister, I informed my sister of what I would be doing and I breastfed her baby. I guess she didn't check her phone for several hours because I ended up feeding her baby twice before my sister responded, and she was furious. She said I had no right to do that and I should have figured something else out. So I'm wondering, am I the asshole here? She hasn't spoken to me since picking my niece up.